Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling. And man, I really appreciate you guys making some time out of your day to spend with me on the video. Always appreciate that. Guys, have some really good news to share with you all. The tide has finally shifted. It's definitely taken a turn in our fight to get the cheater box, forward-facing sonar, Livescope, whatever you want to call it, banned from tournament fishing and fishing. There's been a palatable change. So we're going to talk about that in today's video on what's transpired the last couple months, and definitely want to get your guys' feedback on that as well. Also, guys, before we get started real quick, just want to invite everybody to please consider hitting that subscribe button here at Intuitive Angling. Free and easy. We're trying to reach that 150,000 subscriber mark. And also, guys, I know a lot of you are getting ready to purchase your spring fishing tackle. If you're looking for a bait cast reel, guys, I just want to share this with you. This is one I got last year from Tackle Warehouse. This is the Okuma 1000. Guys, I have been super pleased with this reel. This has been a solid reel for me. It's priced sort of in the middle $200, and I got two of them at Tackle Warehouse. I'll put my Tackle Warehouse link in the description to this reel if you're looking for a really high quality bait cast reel at an affordable price. I think you guys will really love this Okuma, man. It's a really nice reel. So link in the description there. Okay, guys, this is, I know a lot of you guys are, everybody says, oh, quit beating the dead horse, all this type of stuff. Guys, we're not going to stop beating the dead horse. That's like saying when Hitler invaded Europe, you know, France and everything, and the United States got drawn into the war, you know, just stop beating the dead horse fighting against Hitler. It's like we are in a battle right here. Make no mistake about it, guys. This entire technology explosion, forward-facing sonar, all the advancements that's on the way, this poses the biggest threat to everything about our fishing, the sustainability of the fisheries, the heritage and the tradition of the fisheries. It's the biggest threat we have ever faced in this particular situation, you know, short of like pollution, you know, that type of a thing. Those two elements are the really hang on the precipice of being the most destructive elements in our sport. But I want to talk about, guys, what has happened over the past 2 or 3 months, what we've seen that is completely different. Now, this whole forward-facing sonar deals, let's go back in history a little bit. It came about 10 years ago, and it never really caught on because the technology, even though it was there, it hadn't advanced to the point of when they had the transducer technology advancements about 2 years ago. And when the new transducers came out and the multiple transducers and the advancements that they had on the units, that completely changed everything. It changed it where it became, and is even to this day, it's a dominant force in fishing. It's like you can't compete without it. Excuse me, you can't win without it. You can't qualify for anything without it on about any level. And if you do, it's an exception to the rule. So here's what we've seen. Here's the change with it. Now, everybody has went from this opinion that they really didn't know much about it. They were sort of apathetic about it, to when it started coming on the scene, it's like, oh man, you better keep up with technology and you're going to get left behind if you don't use it. And there was sort of this acceptance about, you know, give it up, you know, it's not going away. Forward-facing sonar is here to stay. Give it up, Grandpa. Your time's over. Either get up with the times or you're going to get left behind. That's all a bunch of bullshit. It's complete bullshit, guys. Here's what's happened. People have finally begun to realize what is going on here, and they see it for what it is. And we've seen this evident right off the bat the last 2 or 3 months with the veteran professional anglers. Most of these dudes were very hesitant last year to say a peep about it because they didn't want to be labeled as a troublemaker. They didn't want to alienate their sponsors. They didn't want to alienate the tournament organizations. But what has happened is these veteran pros have seen their careers fall into irrelevancy because of forward-facing sonar, so they had to step up. And now you're seeing guys coming out on social media posts, YouTube videos, they're coming on podcasts, they're voicing their opposition to this in a big way that they never have before. Now, they've done this to me privately for the last 2 years, but they didn't want to come out publicly and say that. But now they've reached the point where they got nothing to lose because it's killing their career, so they're coming out against it. Then on top of that, one of the biggest things we've seen here is the absolute tanking in participation amongst the co-anglers in all the organizations out there that have co-anglers that allow forward-facing sonar. Participation levels, guys, are down 50% almost across the board, and that is directly 100% responsible because of forward-facing sonar. There's no denying it. There's no denying that reality. Co-anglers do not want to get stuck in the boat with some dude in the front of the boat, weenie worming around, trying to, scope 2 or 3 fish out in the middle of a cove. They don't want to do that. They don't want to see it. So from that standpoint, you've had co-anglers that have come out and, voiced their opposition against it. You've had veteran pros come out and voice their opposition against it. You've had industry people come out and voice their opposition against it because it's destroying tackle sales. All of the lure categories that are not applicable with the cheater box, which is not very many of them, there's just jig head, minnow, jerkbait, A-rigs, about it. All those other lure categories are suffering, and tackle manufacturers are losing their butt because of forward-facing sonar. So you've got a combination of co-anglers, pros, and the industry that are adamantly against this technology because it's not benefiting them whatsoever. Now here's what's going to happen, guys. Don't expect the tournament organizations to do the right thing for the right reason. Don't expect Bassmaster and MLF and all the other organizations that allow the cheater box to be used to get rid of it because it's the right thing to do. It's protecting the sustainability and the heritage of the sport. They are not going to change anything until they were forced and shamed into doing it. And that force and that shame is going to come from a financial standpoint. When they start bleeding pros and they start alienating pros and they start losing co-anglers right and left, and the fishing tackle industry starts putting pressure on these organizations to get rid of it, that is when we are going to affect change. In actuality, guys, there is a small minority of the people in this country that want it. The only people that want the cheater box to be legal are the people that have a vested interest in it. And there are 2 categories. Number one is the tournament organizations that are getting the big money from the electronic company sponsorships. And the second with that are the very vocal minority of anglers out there that don't know how to catch bass any other way. Make no mistake about it, guys. There is a lot of what are considered now marquee anglers out there that are so connected to that umbilical cord of forward-facing sonar that they understand that their careers would be over if forward-facing sonar is taken away from the tournaments, because they'd actually have to learn how to bass fish, which they don't know how to bass fish in the traditional sense. So they're going to fight tooth and nail against it. They're going to, attack people like me that are trying to get rid of it. The tournament organizations, as long as they're getting that big check, they're not going to get rid of it. But you can't deny the reality of those 3 segments there: the co-anglers, veteran pros, and the tackle industry. And we've seen a shift. This shift is audible, and it's something that we have not seen it over the past 2 years. So what I want to encourage, guys, is get loud about it. Post on it, voice your opposition, whatever avenue that you have. If you got a Facebook page, Instagram, calling up the tournament organizations, get loud about it and let them know that you're fed up with it. You don't want it anymore. This has taken away every intrinsic point of value of fishing. It's completely removed it. Same with all the other stuff. We talked about it 100 times on the channel here, but I'm just really encouraged of what I'm seeing right now. It's a slow process, and the reason it's a slow process, guys, is anytime you have money involved in anything, it's very difficult to move. It really is. That's one of the things that sucks about our society and sucks about human behavior, is that money and power control everything, and it doesn't matter if it's politics or business or fishing industry. It does it, but eventually opposition to that will outweigh it. It just takes a little bit longer time to achieve that. So anyway, guys, keep up the good fight. Join the good team here. Get on this anti-tech bandwagon. I'll keep leading the charge, man. I'll take the heat. I'll put it on my shoulders. I don't care. Just invite everybody to join me in the good fight, and we'll make some inroads there. So check in later.